everybody. Welcome to Munro Associates. Normally I don't get involved in things that I don't have much control over, but today I have to bring back history. In 1979, I was in the machine tool industry, and we went through a union situation, and I found myself out of a job. The reason for that was because the union had decided that they didn't want to have automation and machine tools come in and ruin their lives. Now, before you all get upset and bent out of shape, I will tell you that my dad was a union organizer. He knew Charlie Brooks in Canada, and he also knew Walter Reuther. I can tell you for sure that that I came from a family that understood both sides of the fence, because after a while my dad moved from being in charge of the union to he quit that company and he went and he was in charge of a factory, a machine tool factory. So let me get back to what happened in 1979. Most of you are too young to remember. I was like 30. So here's what happened, boys and girls. We went from about 1.5 million UAW workers. Now we have about 380,000 union workers, UAW workers, but more of them are in agriculture, aircraft, and things like that. Really and truly, there's only about 180,000 people now that are in the automotive type of UAW. Let me tell you what happened to go from 1.5 million union workers and 180,000 union workers. What happened was the invasion of Japanese vehicles. It started earlier than that, but in those years it really made a giant difference. And we watched the union basically vanish right before our eyes. We had an oil embargo. That could happen again too. But we had an oil embargo at the same time. And every one of the big three, as it used to be called, now it's just one of a number of different companies, but the big three shrunk to almost nothing. Why was that? That was because the UAW demanded things that, in essence, put the rest of the world, at least in North America, at a giant disadvantage. General Motors owns somewhere between 50 and 60% of the market share. They have about 16% on a good day now. I hope that the people who are in the UAW that are looking toward the leadership there aren't thinking that this is a good thing. There's a whole bunch of articles, maybe you should read a few of them, that are talking about, unfortunately, what the UAW is demanding from the automakers would be harmful to the U.S. economy if met. And acquiescing to demands that would result in higher inflation and lower employment and economic growth. The economic growth is going to come from the people like Toyota, no union. Honda, no union. Tesla, no union. And a whole bunch of Chinese guys that are dying to get in here. And they will, because the American people are going to look for low-cost electric vehicles in the not-too-distant future, and I don't care who the president is, they will show up. I got to give Bill Ford a great big thank you for putting out probably one of the most eloquent speeches I've ever heard him give, and I think for sure that everything he said is gonna come to fruition if we don't see something reasonable happen here.
And today, as the UAW strike against Ford continues, We are at a crossroads. Choosing the right path isn't just about Ford's future and our ability to compete. This is about the future of the American automobile industry. The UAW leaders have called us the enemy in these negotiations, but I will never consider our employees as enemies.
I don't think that what I read was even reasonable, where the UAW is going to go over and talk to Tesla employees into coming into the UAW, and talking Toyota into coming into the UAW, and Honda. Nobody wants a radical. Nobody needs a radical. Nobody. You guys that are in the union right now, you voted them in. Maybe you might want to think about your long-term ability to stay in a company, because all the companies, regardless of what anybody says, are basically a house of cards. Somebody pulls a card out and the whole thing's going to come tumbling down. Don't believe me? Get a history book. Go back and look what happened from 1979 until today, and look at how everything fell apart. You know what? It's a good idea sometimes to look backwards. Not the happiest news, I'm sure, and probably filled with little mistakes, but at the end of the day, thanks for watching.